We've been trying to stick to, frankly, Stanley Cup playoffs, NFL, because what's going on in the CFL is so bad, right, from a business perspective, that I don't even want to talk about it. When I do, it's just negative. But can you maybe talk about Southern Ontarians and how much they do love the CFL?
I don't know how much they like. It's very regional. So when you start talking about Southern Ontario, you start talking about football in this province, I would say in Ottawa, they've done a pretty good job because it's kind of close to the Quebec border. And as you know, Quebec football at all levels, grassroots football, whether it's a Cégep or it's the actual Rouge et Or, the Carabin, it doesn't matter. Football is alive and well in Quebec and has been for years. It's sort of like it is in Western Canada. There's a real heart for it. If high school football is something they would talk about. Ottawa is close enough, and they've done a good enough job where Ottawa's okay. Bob Young, the moment that he walked in, and that was a God's gift to the Hamilton area, that part of Southern Ontario, if you want to put it that way, huge, staunch fans. They still, again, it would be a football town to a degree. They're going to talk about high school football. They'll talk about collegiate football. That is now the U Sport. McMaster's a big part of that. So there still are football conversations in that part of Southern Ontario. Toronto and the GTA is a zero. It is the worst football market in North America, bar none. I am sure it's talked more about in Alaska, that and alien abductions. But I'm telling you, people keep talking about the NFL coming. They're not coming. They're not coming to Toronto. The place has zero integrity when it comes to football. You cannot have a football conversation in this town simply because they don't know it. There's not a huge love for it. It is the strangest thing where there's no high school talk of football. There certainly is nothing to do with collegiate. When it comes to the CFL, there's an arrogance to it, and there always has been, and it's even burned off a lot of the hardcore. And the reality is, even when you talk about NFL, the only thing a person in Toronto is going to talk about is their fantasy league. They're going to talk about their fantasy team. They're going to talk about who their second running back is. That's not knowing football, and that's not a football conversation. A football conversation is talking about, where a kid came out of, what school. For instance, people are more in tune now, and I believe this wholeheartedly. It's always been a Leaf town, and I've always said it will always be a Leaf town. But the football conversation in this country, especially in the GTA, basketball now certainly becomes. If you go to a high school, I would say at lunch hour, and you want to talk about sport, you might get a Kyle Lowry thing before you get an Austin Matthew things, and that to me is a massive, if not a universal change, because basketball. Look at Jamal Murray. The kids are more likely in tune to talk about what Jamal Murray, coming out of Kitchener, goes down to Kentucky, and he literally has won the hearts of the Denver Nuggets, what he has done, what he did last night against the Clippers. You'll get a Jamal Murray conversation. I'm sure you're going to get, people still talking about Kawhi, Kyle Lowry, whether he's going to come back or not. These are conversations right now, Rod, that I think are happening in the city that supersede those of Leaf talk. Because trust me, it ain't a hockey city as well. It is not a hockey town. It is a Leaf town, and there's a difference.